Newspapers across the country are losing advertising revenue to audio and visual media as well as digital advertising.
The same is true for the nation's Black-owned newspapers. Those papers have survived for 197 years. New at 5, 6 News' John Chapman reports on how they're making adjustments.
The Omaha Star is one of more than 200 Black-owned community newspapers in the country. Recently, the National Newspapers Association, or the NNPA, the trade association for the country's black newspapers, held its annual convention in Baltimore. Omaha Star publisher Terry Sanders attended the convention. They discussed how black newspapers, like all other papers around the country, are dwindling and suffering, and how black newspapers have to grow and advance beyond ink and paper.
So you have a print newspaper, great. Do you also have a digital version? How are you interfacing with the digital world? Do you also have social media?
Sanders tells us black newspapers have to adjust and stay in business to tell the good stories and good news about happenings in the black community.
For the last 2 weeks, the Omaha Star ran graduates from 8th grade to college and beyond. We had over 60 graduates in the paper that were children of color.
Sanders says archiving those stories and collecting and keeping the history of the community is vital.
Yes.
Sanders has plans to begin construction on a museum to house the archives and display North Omaha's history in print.
As far as establishing the museum here, that is like monumental, because it's not just about Omaha, but it's about black journalism throughout. And it will be dedicated to the black journalism experience.
I like talking to people, and I like hearing their stories and experiences.
Sanders says it's important not only to keep black newspapers alive, but to also grow black journalists. Erica Adams will be a high school senior. Right now, she's interning at the Star.
I see people come by every day just to get a newspaper or talk to Miss Sanders and get new updates on what's happening around here.
Erica says she's learning a lot here, and she believes young people have to get involved so black newspapers don't go the way of the typewriter.
Then there will be no voice for the black community and no one to shed our views and lights.
On your side in North Omaha, I'm John Chapman, 6 News.
Sanders tells us the black press in this country will celebrate 200 years of service in a couple of years.